Full of Grace, created and performed by Andrea Barello, which is me, follows Padre Andrea, a very peculiar Catholic priest who is about to give a very peculiar worship service. He will guide his audience towards salvation, but on his own terms, spraying them with holy water, having them join a Macarena dance and some weird sing-alongs, and so on. It's a comedy show that oscillates between goofiness and reflection, plays with very absurd gags, but also exposes contradictions and weaknesses of a minister of God who is not entirely sure about this whole thing. I grew up in Italy, a very Catholic country, and with this show I wanted to play a little bit with this institution that still has so much influence on the culture of my country. So why don't you just join my service and repent of your sins? God bless you.
Hi guys, my name is Josh. I am the creator and the performer of the show Joshy in Paris, which is at the Adelaide Fringe. So what the fuck is this show? Essentially, it is a good dose of stand-up, cabaret, dance, and theatre. That's a lot of things. I know, it's a lot of things in one show. It's called Joshy in Paris because I've just been living in Paris for the past year and a half and also lived there as a student. And essentially it follows a very exaggerated and comedic retelling of life lived there as a gay Australian trying to make it as a creative superstar actor in the piss-ridden streets of Paris in every language going. It is a story. It starts off with a cold open as a clowny French man who dies because he doesn't have any bread. And then it just has lots of stand-up and theatre bits that are woven together with savage little punchlines, stripping, dance numbers, no full frontal, always just stripping with like undies that have like funny little words on it, and props and dancing. And so essentially there's also a baguette, and I call it the virgin stick. And so throughout the show, an audience member can stand up, make me stop, and dance to Madonna's Like a Virgin. And that happens 3 times. And then at the end, there's a virgin sacrifice where the last remaining audience member who holds the stick has to stab me to death in front of everyone while they scream, "Die!" And that's my show in a nutshell. So it has a bit of everything.
Hello, my name is Charlie Mulliner and I'd love to tell you about my show Love Hunt. Love Hunt is an hour-long mashup of character comedy, clowning and storytelling. So we follow Amber, a woman who's just been dumped. She comes into the theatre like, what's happened? But don't worry, it's not Eat, Pray, Love, Eat earnestness. It's more Bridget Jones on acid. That's my short pitch. So we follow Amber as she goes on a big odyssey of trying to figure out what it is she really wants and what does it mean to really be in love. Along the way, she meets a bunch of surreal characters. We've got a horny nun, a little lonely star, intense PE coach, a man-eater, and some others. All this time, she's interacting with the audience. They're kind of getting on side, and they're really involved with the narrative. And this has meant that the show has always had a really warm audience response because they very much feel part of the journey. I've performed this show in Tallinn, in Estonia, in Paris, in London, in Edinburgh. And what's been really brilliant is kind of wherever I go, the show seems to really kind of resonate with people and they really understand the themes and, really get invested in the show. So that's been amazing. So far, I've had some great reviews. I got nominated for Best Newcomer at the Ish Edinburgh Comedy Awards, which was really exciting. And I'm just really excited to bring the show to Adelaide and to hopefully keep touring it and have the show kind of interact with as many audiences as possible. Thanks for taking the time to watch this, and I hope you have a great day.
My name is Giuseppe Alfresco, and I am a humble Italian beach boy, and I have never been in love before. My show is called Giuseppe's Love Quest. I'm trying to understand what is love. What does it mean to be in love? I don't know, I have never felt it. But from the 3rd to the 15th of March at Gluttony in the Valley at 9:15 p.m., maybe I will find love. As part of Honeypot, I am looking for opportunities to tour the show, to do workshops, to do roving performances, to do anything that is exciting, collaborative experience that can bring people together and create playfulness and create a wholesome vibe of togetherness. Because this love concept is something so universal, yet so unique. It's so beautiful to explore. I would love to also look at getting a producer to come on board and help me take this show to new places. My name is Giuseppe Alfresco, but you can also call me Jeremiah Dentro. I have been doing clown comedy for about 10 years now with other shows like MASH and When I Grow Up. And it would be so wonderful to take this show, other shows, all these shows, and tour them wherever is possible. In a black box, proscenium arch, in a garden, anywhere. Thank you so much, and I hope to see you at the show. Arrivederci. Ciao.
Yes, I'm ready for my interview. I am Karl Potarajski, renowned lounge singer, dancer, poet, musician, magician, burlesque dancer, animal lover, human lover. What is my show about? It is about love, about connection. Hopefully it inspires you to want to live in a playful way, in full expression. What was it? No, it is not a clown show. This is not a clown show. Why does this work matter to me? This work matters to me because it is a deep personal story taught to me by my father, his heritage, his lineage through my work. Born an Argentinian man, now his legacy goes on forever. Yes, it's also a way to feel connection with you, a wonderful audience member, someone I want to get close with. Have you ever been to one of these shows? Please come to one of these shows. I need to feel you. I want to be with you. I want to smell you. What opportunities am I seeking? I would love to take this show around the world, perform in some of the greatest theaters in all of the world, sing on top of hilltops with you, dance on a gondola in Venice with you. If people want to collaborate and make this a big experience for the world, I won't deny it. Thank you. Thank you for your time. Thank you so much. Thank you. I love you very much, and I hope to see you soon.
Hello, My name's Callum LePage. I'm a performer from a group called Fully Charged. We are originally a sketch comedy group that we've been performing and self-producing our work since 2022. We've won the Crowd Pleaser Award at Melbourne Fringe in 2024, and we won Best Emerging Artist at Adelaide Fringe in 2025. Good night, sleep tight, and don't let the bed bug bite. So this show is called Le Bug. It's a one-man show heavily influenced by clown performance. It's about essentially a French bedbug against the world. He's hungry and just wants to nibble the audience.
Can I have a nibble? S'il vous plaît?
But there is an angry horde just outside the theatre that is demanding his head. Delegates should come and see a debut solo show from an experienced sketch comedian to see a new style of comedy and an absurd bug character. I'm also currently self-produced, so I would welcome any producers who are looking for performers or shows to work with. I hope to see you there, and would love to speak further with any delegates interested in chatting.
Hi, my name is George Finn, coming here from Otatahi, Christchurch, New Zealand. I'm the creator of the Sexy Ghost Boy trilogy, and bringing the first show in that trilogy, Sexy Ghost Boy, to Adelaide Fringe. The show is an interactive, wordless comedy show, which uses clown and burlesque to explore sexuality, insecurity, and the little rituals we do to make ourselves feel sexy. The origin of the work came from I like having a bad idea and then trying to make it work, and this one was, how do I do a show about consent without talking? So non-verbal consent became a really interesting place to sort of play around with, because it feels so implicit, and it's something we don't talk about, which I thought was kind of ironic. And what I've ended up with is a show that feels very tense from the beginning, but it's so stupid that it allows people to melt that tension down, and it ends in a place where the audience feels really like playful, and they stick around after the show to talk about what just happened in their experiences. And small little community building stuff like that really draws me to interactive work. My objectives with coming to Adelaide Fringe and doing the Honey Pot are to get myself out there, see if there's any producers who would be interested in representing me in Australia or other countries, and definitely see what other types of festivals I might be interested in going and seeing.
Hi, I'm Trish Hurley, and along with Tan Lozano and Jackie Richards, I'm 1/3 of the stand-up lineup that is the Women's Room Underestimated. I believe this is the Honey Pot elevator pitch, so let's go find an elevator. You're seeing just me on camera today, mainly because I'm the most photogenic. I promise, the other two are real, brilliant, and much funnier than these photos would suggest. The show draws on real life experiences like grief, love, friendship, family, things that you can relate to. The kind of comedy where people say, hey, this is me. Since we started the Women's Room, we've taken it to the Melbourne International Comedy Festival twice and to the Sydney Fringe, where we got nominated for Best in Comedy. We love making people laugh and we love hanging out together. If you're watching this and you can think of any reason to get in contact with us, please go ahead and do it. Trust your instincts. Pick up that phone, send that email. We'd love to tour regionally, but also we're open to any opportunities whatsoever. So put your thinking hats on and let us know. Please come along, see us, say hi. You will recognise yourself and you will have a laugh.
Hi, I'm Kathy Manura. I'm a British character comedian, writer and drag performer, and I'm really excited to be coming to the Adelaide Fringe for the first time with my show, The Cycling Man. The Cycling Man is an absurd narrative character comedy show where I play a middle-aged man in lycra who finds himself in hospital after a cycling accident. At first, he's bragging to the other people in the waiting room, the audience, about his accomplishments.
I cover my body in lycra, creating mysterious and defensive bulges.
But then the wheels start to come off. He starts hallucinating, singing about his cycling club, he does an alarmingly sexual bike maintenance routine, and he starts confessing things he'd never thought he'd share. The show is a good-natured send-up of masculinity and the absurd lengths that some men will go to avoid expressing themselves. But mainly it's just a playful, silly, queer show that all sorts of audiences can enjoy. I found that it resonates particularly with young queer audiences who may already be fans of drag kings, but also, perhaps somewhat surprisingly, with cyclists and other sports people, and often their wives. The show was named one of the best reviewed shows at the Edinburgh Fringe last year, and I was really proud to receive funding to take it there and to bring it to Adelaide. After Adelaide, I'm taking the show on a tour of the UK, and I'm looking for further touring opportunities internationally. I'm also thinking about ways the character could live on beyond the live show, whether that's short film, TV, radio, digital formats. There's a lot of sketches already on my Instagram, and I've got a short film script if you'd like to read that. But mostly, I'm really looking forward to doing the show in Adelaide, to meeting you, and to perhaps getting the cycling man on his little bike, cycling to many new places around the world.
Hi everyone, South African comedian Dalen Oliver here. I'm extremely excited to be coming to Adelaide Fringe 2026, even more excited to be part of the Honey Pot family. I have friends and colleagues who have experienced the festival and who have experienced Honey Pot and were like, Dalen, it's going to blow your mind. It gives you global access like you could never imagine. So what can it do for me? So much. I'm an independent artist, so from start to finish, I handle all my productions and tours, whether it's in South Africa or whether it's outside of our beautiful country. I've had the privilege of performing in 8 countries and 32 cities with this specific show, 90-Day Comedian, in total 10 countries and 25 cities. Overall, I've done 165 international performances, and the reason I mention this is because traveling is a privilege, having access is a privilege, but it's also extremely challenging as an independent artist, but also as a South African artist. Our currency is the South African rand, which is extremely weak compared to the Australian dollar, pound, the euro, etc., etc., and our passport doesn't allow for the most access. So Honey Pot will allow the global access that I would like to achieve with my show, from venues to producers to friendships to networking. I'm here to take full advantage of Honey Pot. Thank you for facilitating it. I can't wait to see you at my show. If you bump into me in the streets, come say hi. If you come to my show, come say hi. I can't wait to meet you at Adelaide Fringe 2026. All the best. Take care. Thank you for your time. Cheers, cheers. Bye-bye now.
23 years ago, I was forced to learn Indonesian in high school and forgot all of it until I joined the army. Got sent to Southeast Asia, and the few words that I remembered were the only words that I could use. That was more than my mates though, so they made me the interpreter, which made me realise the importance of language and the power it has to break down barriers. I kept teaching myself Indonesian, and after I left the army, I went on to study a degree in Indonesian Studies and International Relations, and now I've condensed that language learning journey into a 1-hour comedy show so you can laugh and learn and help build positive international relations.
Hold up! Oh, hold up! Is this a Fringe announcement? Oh my God! Fringe announcement? Are we gonna get arrested for announcing this? Oh, maybe if it's a little too soon. Whoopsie! Oh, whoa! Oh, hi everyone, I'm Zoe OG. I am one part of OMI, and we have just finished our debut show, the first one we've ever done, and we're here talking to our very fun audience members. Let's see what they had to say.
It was, funny and, relatable in so many different ways, and told the story and everything. Definitely go see it.
Hey, what did you think?
It was incredible. Probably one of the things that really stood out to me was the mum's text message. That was just absolutely. Are we allowed to cuss?
Yeah, you're allowed.
Okay, it was fucking incredible.
So funny, I nearly weed my pants and I even had to take my bra off. It's in my bag.
How is taking your bra off related to peeing your pants? I want to know.
Because I need to jiggle with the laughter and set everything free.
Okay, and you heard it here first, people. So funny, you have to take your bra off. You might pee your pants. Lily, you should say it.
Well, if you do want to come check it out, you just might have to book tickets to the Adelaide Fringe.
Oh, am I there? Yes, I am.
Hey Honey Potters, my name is Zach Vasiliou, but you actually might recognise me from busking in Rundle Mall from the ages of 11 through 14.
Mamma mia, here I go again. How can I resist ya?
I'm so excited to be bringing my solo comedy show, Twinkie Twinkie Little Star, back to the Adelaide Fringe for the second year after a hugely successful first season. Some highlights included these reviews, winning an Adelaide Fringe Emerging Artist Award, and my ex coming to the show, where a whole portion of the show is written about him. I feel like I really made a splash the first season, and I'm so excited to share this work with more people. The show centres around all the signs that I was going to grow up to be gay, and how my parents missed every single one of them. As the title of the show also suggests, I discuss being an ex-twink, according to the gay community, and also challenge some of the other boxes and categories within the gay community too. And if you're part of the Honey Pot program and don't know what a twink is, that's surprising, but here's a quick definition for you. Noun, slang, a young attractive gay man with a slim boyish appearance. While my show only runs for the last week of Fringe, I will be in Adelaide for the majority of the festival, and I look forward to seeing you there. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you at the Fringe. Bye!
Hi, I'm Andrew.
And I'm Carrie.
And our show is Andrew and Carrie, a night of comedy.
Violins.
And violence. You can catch our show in the middle of Fringe. It runs from Thursday, March 12th to Sunday, March 15th at 6 o'clock p.m. every night at Arthur Art House. So delegates, a couple reasons to see our show is that we are a real-life couple who live together in West Hollywood, California. Oh, thank you.
The palm tree.
It's a real palm tree. It's not CGI or AI, it's a real one.
Yeah. Nice one.
Yeah, I suppose you guys have your own palm trees. We're not going to bring a palm tree, but we are going to bring...
Violin.
Yeah, so that'll be nice. Our show is a comedy.
Dark comedy.
That's a good way to correct it. It covers some heavy topics.
Aging parents, dementia, elderly dogs.
Yeah, but we put a comedic spin on it, and we feel like after running this at Edinburgh, we're bringing you the best version of Andrew and Carrie, a night of comedy,
violins,
and violence.
Hope to see you there. Do it again. We're from California.
G'day, I'm Holographic Charizard. I write and perform songs about the Pokemon Charizard. I started performing songs about Charizard back in 2012. I was It was a musical show. I had a bit of a cult following until 2015. A lot of people asked for me to bring back the show, so I brought it back as a comedy show and did it at the Adelaide Fringe, and it resonated with a whole range of people. And it was just so good to come out and celebrate Charizard with a bunch of other people who just reliving the memories, the great times, and then bringing it to a whole range of people and introducing new people to Pokemon. I've got many songs about Charizard. They're all about Charizard. I've got Charizard Use Fire Breath, I Choose You Charizard. There's one song that's not about Charizard. It's called Will You Be My Charizard. The story is about traveling overseas through Indonesia and how Charizard has kind of appeared in my life.
Oh, you're here. Newspaper from the future. It didn't sell because everyone is dead. J.K. Rowling hates trains? That's strange. If Time Machine won't be glitching, I'm gonna have more. North Korea Comedy Festival, all yours. Science from the future, God hypothesis happening, oh my god. I just need producer. Matt Promo does the heavy lifting, I just need you for brain lifting. Budget approved, cut visa approved, call me, Gardillo.
I love Excel, as in spreadsheets. My name is David and I'm also known as the Excel Comedian, and I have a comedy show called Excel Comedy and Mathem Antics, where I talk about the trials and tribulations of being the Excel person of the office and going to conferences about Excel. Yes, they really exist. And also how maths has influenced my life. And I also showcase some Excel tricks in the show, and it ends with kind of a personal storytelling aspect, which brings everything together. So my whole career is related to Excel. I have a YouTube channel about spreadsheets. I blog about it. I do webinars about it. And I'm even considered by Microsoft to be amongst the top 100 or so Excel people worldwide by holding the Microsoft MVP award for spreadsheets. I also enjoy maths. I have a master's in maths, and so I've brought everything together with comedy in order to make that work. I'm looking for touring opportunities, mostly in Europe, but also in Australia and Southeast Asia, New Zealand, places like that. I'm actually based full-time in Cambodia. I bet you weren't expecting that. So if you have any insights, if you're a venue, if you're looking for this kind of show, then it could work. We had a sold-out run for my debut show at Edinburgh Fringe in 2025 because this subject really, really speaks to people. So many people are the Excel person of their office, or they just use it and hate to love it or love to hate it. So if you have that or any insights as well, please get back to me. Thank you.
Hey, this is Sean Wickens from Secret Time Travel Meeting, a comedy show mixed with an absurd physics lecture. The show started because some time ago I bought the domain name Time Machine Blueprints. I thought that would just be funny to own. Then I realized once I had the domain name, there was nothing stopping me from self-publishing a book called Time Machine Blueprints. And the really cool thing about it is that it's mostly blank inside. It's a lined notebook. I tell people it's infinitely usable. And then I realized I had merch for a show, and then I should then do a show. So Secret Time Travel Meeting, I open with jokes because I tell people it's better to make people laugh first and then blow their minds second. And then I end with some pragmatic, ethical thoughts I have on time travel. I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I more so talk about how, isn't it worthwhile to talk about a technology that doesn't exist before it exists rather than, with stuff like AI and social media, it gets here and it's like, oh great, what do we do? It's been called Sci-Fi Church for Comedy Nerds. It's lightly interactive. I encourage people to show up in costume because people look around and see, weirdos. It's like, it's a real time travel thing. All right, there you go.
It was like everything you think in the workplace but you can't say out loud.
I'm an out-of-the-box thinker.
Same. Kia ora, I'm Amy Mansfield, the writer and producer of HR the Musical, a musical sketch comedy about work and the workplace. HR the Musical is about our modern obsession with work.
You don't have to pay me more. In fact, why don't you demote me?
It's about our frustrations with work.
Will you flick it to me again?
Yeah, I'll flick it to you.
Mansplain it won't understand.
And the insecurity of work.
It's time to restructure. It's when we say fuck yeah. Is this the line for the retraining?
It's about the madness we're expected to enact through work.
People loved reapplying for their jobs.
And the ridiculous language we find ourselves speaking at work.
Cut it down! Cut it down!
To date, HR the Musical has played a total of 34 performances across 6 venues in 5 cities in Aotearoa, New Zealand, and sold around 7,000 tickets. I'm now looking for producing partners and presenters in Australia and beyond.
His name is Johnny Pazvalski, and he wrote and is performing the Can Principle. In a world flooded with self-appointed experts, know-it-alls and gurus comes the Can Principle, the barely believable origin story of a fake guru. Fantastic. This is a parody of the modern guru economy, a solo 50-minute live comedy about what it takes to reinvent yourself in the face of failure and the self-proclaimed experts lining up to take your money for nothing. A combination of bouffon storytelling, even sitcom, and a central character who is no stranger to bending the truth and not shy to offer his unsolicited opinion. You get the Can Principle and you get Mervyn, who is pretty much based on most of the people he grew up with as a South African immigrant in Australia. But what is the actual Can Principle? Well, it is a life philosophy designed to end all human misery. Sounds incredible. The only problem is Mervyn's questionable methods. Hold on a second. Oh, here we go. Some are born gurus, some achieve guru-ness, some thrust guru-ness upon you. Johnny is looking to find a producer and would love to book national and international seasons and tours. Welcome to the Can Principle. Looking forward to doing business with you. We're going to punish it. Oh shit, here he comes.
Hey, my name is Raoul Coley. I'm a multi-award-winning comedian from the northeast of England, also known as Sausage Raoul. I'm bringing my show, the A History Comedy Show, to the Adelaide Fringe. It is a stand-up show where 3 comics do stand up from the perspective of their favourite historical character. The tickets have been selling like hotcakes here at the Perth Fringe World. It sold out at Edinburgh Fringe last year where it debuted. And it has also sold 50% of its tickets for its one show in Leicester where I am not there. So far, it's been amazing. We've had Mahatma Gandhi, Marilyn Monroe, Julius Caesar and Adolf Hitler on stage. And every time it's different because it's different acts. With different favourite historical characters. Not always, sometimes people just pick the funniest one, hence the Hitler. Anyway, I hope hence the Hitler. Anyway, it's hosted by me. I was nominated last year at the New Zealand International Comedy Festival 2025 for the Best International Debut. Nominated in 2024 for the best show at the Edinburgh Fringe Festival, nominated in 2019 for the best show at the Leicester Comedy Festival, and I think the show showcases me as my best because it's a subject I'm very passionate about, and I believe that there is always a reason to be eternally optimistic in both history and our present. I'd like to tour it nationally and across the world and take it to as many fringes as possible, so come and check it out.
Hi there, I'm Chelsea Heaney and I would like to tell you about my show Big Pants. It is all about when I lost my luggage on Kentucky in Asia and how, as a fat, queer, musical-loving, anxiety-filled woman, that was quite the challenge. The show is predominantly stand-up, but it does borrow a lot from clown and improv and cabaret. There is a musical theatre medley that I personally think should go down in the ages. There's a lot of physical comedy as well, a little bit of audience interaction, but not too much. It was directed by Penny Greenhalgh, who is a TV writer and a clown herself, and was really helpful in embedding some of those more playful, physical moments into the show. I think one of the biggest selling points for this show is how it appeals to the fat community. It is an underserved market in comedy. I always wanted to write a show where you could have a fat ass and not be the butt of the joke. So it's really special to me that the fat community has really embraced this show and come along. I have performed this at the Geelong Comedy Festival, Perth Fringe World, the Canberra Comedy Festival, Melbourne International Comedy Festival, and I just finished finished a run at the Melbourne Fringe Festival as well, and I'm really excited to bring it to Adelaide next year. It is a high energy, high depression show, and so far has gotten really good feedback, including a 4.5-star review.
Hi, my name's Chris. I'm a trans mass comedian based in Sydney, and I started posting a joke every single day online about a year ago about being trans, and I was following in the footsteps of what I read. G-Flip, when they were unknown, called themselves a blonde drummer online and started posting a video every single day of them drumming. And so I thought I'd do the same, but I called myself the trans comedian in order to grow a following. And so the show is basically the story of that, but with all of the jokes that, well, a lot of the jokes that I told, like, included. So it's stacked full of jokes and includes lots of the comments that I would get, like, you lot are just trans because you were bored during lockdown, and dealing with that. So it's a very funny show. And I was also getting this comment, I can tell you're still a woman, but I would get another comment, I can tell you're still a man, in the comment directly underneath. And so I started a hashtag campaign, trans allyship campaign, which went viral. I had over 4 million views, and it's called I Can Tell. So that's the name of the show. So essentially it's very hopeful, very timely, politically, but educational without trying to educate. And it's very joyful and very silly. There's lots of humor in there. And I've managed to self-produce a tour regionally in Australia, and I've just been to Manchester in the UK as well to take the show, so it's tour ready. So come and see the show.
Hey, I'm James Barr. I'm a comedian from the UK. My show is called Sorry I Hurt Your Son, said my ex to my mum. It's about a relationship I was in. The easiest way to explain what happened is horoscopes. So, I'm a Virgo, and my ex-boyfriend, he was abusive. Now, stories about domestic abuse, conversations about DA are so often heavy-handed or serious, and our stories are featured in documentaries or drama, but it can sometimes feel like trauma dumping or a worst-case scenario, and that made it very difficult for me to spot, even when I was the victim of a pushy-wushy down-the-stairsy-wearsy. So I've crafted an hour of stand-up comedy that gives the shame back. It takes the audience on an increasingly upward spiral of terrible acts without ever feeling awkward or horrible. People have left my show saying that they've felt braver, that they've never heard anyone talk about abuse like this, and it's saved their life. And honestly, I cannot wait to perform the show in Adelaide again. I'm also playing Melbourne International Comedy Festival this year, and I've got a UK tour coming at the end of 2026. The reason I love Honeypot is that it connected me with producers that are taking the show to Melbourne this year when I was at Adelaide Fringe last year. It's made a huge difference, and this year I'm looking to work on the show's TV adaptation. I'd love to chat to you about scripted. I'm also really excited about turning the show into a memoir, and it's my ambition to tour the US. So hopefully you'll come and see the show whilst it's in Adelaide, and we'll get to catch up.
Hi, my name's Summer, and I will be bringing my stand-up hour, Jesus Christ Superstar, to the Adelaide Fringe. It's set in Wollongong in the late 90s and early noughties. And during this time, Pauline Hanson was telling us we were being swamped by Asians. My grandma was telling me that I could be a lesbian if I wanted to, but only as a hobby. And most importantly, I got to be Jesus in the high school mass. What a time it was. So yes, this is a queer, brown, coming-of-age story, but I've deliberately pitched my story against that of Jesus Christ to give it a sense of magnitude that traditionally, I think people from marginalised communities like mine don't get to have, because we don't get to take up that kind of cultural space. I want this story to take up as much space as possible because I'm part of the mainstream. I was a Raw Comedy National Finalist in 2024, and this show was a weekly pick for the Sydney Fringe last year. This year, it has been picked up by the Sydney Comedy Festival for its Fresh program, so it's really gaining momentum. What I would like to see is this stand-up hour have as many new audience members as possible, both in Australia and overseas. So what I need is help with marketing, funding, and production. Thanks for listening.
Hi, I'm Karina Gouros, Australian stand-up comedian, actor and writer. Sorry My Mum Won't Let Me is a stand-up comedy show filled with stories about my absurd upbringing and how that trained me to accept equally absurd romantic situations in adulthood. It goes from embarrassing family chaos, cultural commentary, into vanity, toxic exes, and a very delayed queer awakening. And then it ends with a revenge arc in the form of an improvised musical surprise. It's confessional, high energy, unhinged. Along the way, I play my own mother, launching a full-scale tactical operation to trap my teenage sister. The themes of the show are identity, sexuality, culture, and Ricky Martin. And it explores what happens when you let shame and expectation run your life. Audiences laugh hard, but then are made to consider what happens when you let familial and societal expectations dictate your choices, and they leave with a sense of release and newfound personal freedom. I made this show because I spent way too long feeling trapped by where I came from, and I realized that owning the full mess of who you are is the way out. I'm looking to connect with venues and presenters who are interested in touring the work regionally, nationally, internationally, and in industry partners who are interested in supporting the next stage of my career development. Thank you.
Adelaide Fringe.
We've done an Adelaide Fringe.
You've done it.
I've done it. It's great. How'd it go? I've been doing stand-up comedy and comedy writing for 4 or 5 years now. This is my first festival run. This is the best hour of stuff I've ever written. It is phenomenal. It is, not to toot my own horn too much, but powerful. Without spoiling anything, we're going to be starting a Bogan cult of kindness. And by that, I mean I'm going to give you the tools to become the very best, most positive version of yourself that you can be, using the mindset of an Aussie larrikin. This is a show that takes a very Australian look at optimism and philosophy. It applies all the rules from all those self-help books over the years into one condensable, easy to digest hour. What I'm going to tell you is what we're looking at doing after the Adelaide Fringe. We're looking at taking this show all over Australia on a regional tour. I want to take this to places that would never expect to have comedy visit them and show them a message that they may never have heard before. This show I know can help people because it's helped me enough writing it, and it's helped everyone I've shown the bits to so far. This is comedy with a purpose. It's comedy with a message. It's comedy that I care about and that I hope you'll care about too. Your help will allow us to take this show and its positive messaging to help people all over Australia in ways they never would have thought before. This is a love letter to Australiana and our culture, and can make you into a better bloke, no matter who you are.
Hello, we're going on an expedition today. My name is Vita Slayman and I'm a comedian based in Adelaide. My new show for the Adelaide Fringe is called Vagina, the Visitor's Guide. And it's a fact-based guided tour through the history and science of the vagina. Well, not just the vagina, but the vulva, which is the whole thing, not just the whole thing. The show is full of stories and jokes and games. There's going to be so much audience participation. And by the end, each member of the audience will become a certified vagina tour guide, and they're going to get a vag badge. People who have already bought tickets for the show include women who are getting together for a girls' night out, women's health professionals, young adults going with their mum on a night out, and of course women bringing their male partners for a bit of education and entertainment. I'm really excited. I'm so excited about this show. I'd love to tour it regionally and around festivals in Australia and internationally. There's so much content. It's really got the potential to grow and evolve into a longer show and to have spin-off shows. Looking longer term, I see a podcast, I see a book, a YouTube channel, speaking opportunities at women's events, collaborations with brands in the women's sexual health and education space, and of course loads and loads of merch. I'd love to meet with a season producer or a festival director who can help me take the next step in bringing this show to a wide audience in Australia and around the world. Look forward to meeting you soon.
Hi, I'm Nicola Brown. I'm a clinical psychologist who's turned pelvic floor dysfunction into an award-winning comedy show called Space Invaders. When I was diagnosed with the condition that my show is about, pelvic organ prolapse, I said to the specialist in disbelief, "Why does nobody talk about this?" At that point, I've been a clinical psychologist for 25 years, working mostly with women, and not once had a single client talk to me about this condition. That makes no sense because it affects up to half of people with a vagina at some point in life. So I decided we need to get better educated. What better could I do than turn this into a comedy show so I can entertain and inform at the same time? Space Invaders is a 1-hour show blending stand-up, storytelling, and playful visual humour to turn a taboo health topic into something audiences can laugh at, see themselves in, and talk about afterwards. It's intimate, it's funny, and deeply relatable. The show has had very successful seasons across New Zealand, won multiple awards, and is fully tour ready for festivals, arts venues, and conference contexts. One review described it as an intimate, brilliant comedy hour that might just save your life. I'm looking for fringe and art festival touring opportunities and the chance to combine performance with conference keynotes or workshops. I'm also interested in connecting with a producer to support touring strategy, festival bookings, and international opportunities. Thank you for watching. I would love to connect.
Hello, my name is Phil de Bondi, the man who never sleeps. That is the title of my fringe show. It is also a condition that I actually have. Very rare condition where I move every minute that I'm asleep. I act out my dreams, and to everybody else, it looks like I'm fully awake. Super rare, but it causes some very, very funny scenarios. This is comedy, storytelling, the misdirects, the dark humour. It's something quite special. Now, that is a superficial story for the man who never sleeps, and what I've written is going to make me very vulnerable. And the reason it's going to make me very vulnerable is because it's a story about growing up in a house with domestic violence. That impacts one in 3 women in Australia. They have 2.3 kids. That is literally millions of Australians impacted by domestic violence. So this is something that millions and millions of Australians are going to find relatable. That's sad to me. What I don't think has been added to the conversation is what happens to those men who grow up, have their own families, and what it means to struggle to try and make sure that they don't have the life that the parent experiences. This is a story about what happens to those kids who grow up, the impact it has on them being a parent and trying to break those cycles. It is a story very much about living in 2 very different Australias. One low socioeconomic, the other people who use big words like low socioeconomic. Then it's going to hit people in different ways. I worked very, very hard on it. I've got some great people involved. I'm really looking forward to bringing it to as many people as I possibly can. Hope to see that.
Hi, I'm Sones Stevens Kitano. I'm a Tokyo-based voice actor and comedian, and this is Can I Pick You Up? Sir Isaac Newton. He was not the English voice of Hello Kitty, but I was. Thanks for visiting. So I've lived in Japan for almost 30 years, and Bigger in Japan, it's a warm, funny storytelling show. It's about finding your voice, literally and metaphorically, because I've spent my entire life speaking for everyone else. Now it's my turn. Beneath it, really, it's engaging in a contemporary dialogue about voice, authorship, visibility, particularly for women in creative industries. I've spent my life doing voice work, and the show invites audiences to communicate about how to consider technology and storytelling and how they intersect, all without losing its joy. I was once a published academic. I was once a competitive rock climber, only once. And I've even tried sumo wrestling, which ended up with me rupturing my Achilles twice. I'm ADHD, and this really shapes how I create. This show is designed to have audience leave lighter than they were when they came in. And at 50, people might say I'm has-been. I like to think of myself as I'm a glad I was. Bigger in Japan, it's intimate, portable, and deeply human. And I'm excited for it to travel. Thank you so much for listening.
Hi, I'm Andrea Barello, and I'm a clown. All the way from Italy, by way of Los Angeles, California, where I currently live and work. I'm presenting my show tonight, A Clown Who Wanted to Be Loved. It's the story of a man who doesn't want to be alone. It's a story about love. It's very silly, very playful, has many physical, visual gags, from slow motion boxing to pizza dancing, and uses very little language, which makes it very relatable and accessible to audiences of all cultures and of all ages. It's family friendly. It has something for everyone, from the more playful humor to the deeper narrative. I'm potentially interested in any opportunity here, from networking, collaborations with producers, festival bookings, worldwide touring. So come see my show. And more importantly, come play with me. Thank you. Ciao.
Hi, I'm Teddy Hall, a Switzerland-based comedian, and I'm bringing my show Slay Boy to Adelaide Fringe. I'm very excited. It's a show designed to directly improve my real life. So through the show, I managed to quit smoking, fix my relationship with my father, maintain sobriety, work on my body and my relationship to it, get off my phone, and disentangle some of my ADHD confusions. It's very interactive, it's a little bit clown-inspired, there's a lot of strange set pieces. Even though it starts as kind of a stand-up show, but it gets to a weird place. And it's fundamentally a very optimistic and joyful and I think quite vulnerable show, and it sincerely improved my real life. And I'm really proud that I've been able to already tour it around Europe a lot, from Zurich to Berlin to Barcelona to Tallinn, even in Iceland and Reykjavik, where it won Best Stand-Up Comedy. And I'd love to take it to more places and connect with producers and local creatives and take it to more festivals like Edinburgh. Yeah, as an English language comedian in Switzerland and continental Europe, I've had to forge my own path for the most part. So I think if I got the chance to work with more producers and focus fully on just the artistic side of things, I think it would be something great for me. And I think it's a show that people would like. I'm very proud of it, and I think you'd like it. So I hope to see you there. Thank you for your time. I love you.